Next minute.
Hi everyone. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there with you tonight. I had to work. I'm on a location scout. So I hope you have a great panel tonight. The answer to all of my questions would have been boobs. And Kat, take it from here, babe. I love you, miss you, and love you all. Mwah.
North and all you Earpers, put your hands together, welcome to the stage, Kat Barrell. Cool, do you want to do it again for the camera? Camera's over there. Stand up. Oh no, we're going to do it, we're going to properly. Come up on stage. Come up on stage, Earpers, come on.
Oh my god.
All of you, come on.
Kiwi.
There's safety in numbers, there's safety in numbers. It's okay, you guys can stand at the back. Come on. Come on, you two. You were vocal, come on.
Okay, you guys.
Come on. I don't mind.
It's so good to see you.
It's okay. She just wants to see you.
I'm filming, buddy.
Alright, now the other one, Leo.
Stand up.
Excuse me. I'll just give you your own microphone. There we go. I will get out of the way because this is not about me. There's the camera over there.
It's so nice to see you. Look at this. I'm sorry that I'm not Melanie's for Fandom.
Glad to see you again.
Do it. Hold the mic down there because you can find out.
I say Wynonna, you say Earp, Wynonna, Wynonna. I say Wynonna, you say Earp, Wynonna, Wynonna, Wynonna.
I have no idea what they're saying, but it sounds fun.
Inside joke, Damien, inside joke. You gotta be an Earper to know.
No, I've witnessed it before. I know I was trying to be funny. So I'm sure some of you have questions. If you want to stay on stage, take a seat on the couch. I'll get that out of your way.
Yeah, have a seat. Let's hang out. This is so cool. Never done one of these before, guys. This is very exciting.
Oh, so is this your first panel?
It's my first live, but not live.
Right.
It's like the transition panel between the old world and the new. It's very cool.
Sure. Well, I mean, I don't know how much you've known about how New Zealand survived through the pandemic.
I know a lot because two of my very, very best friends are Kiwis. I know a lot. I know about the 2-week quarantine in the hotel. I know that we gotta wait to get in line for that. I know that you guys stayed open a lot longer than any of us did. I know the things.
Who are your two friends that are Kiwis?
Their names are Jules and Charlotte.
Jules. That's my
Yeah, you know Jules, right?
That's my cousin.
Very, very small country. Yeah, your cousin. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
good
but,
shout. I do. It's kind of scary. Yeah, you're right. We had a 4-week lockdown as a country. We all just said that's it. We closed up shop, essential workers only. Then the government said stay home for another couple of weeks, but you can have McDonald's. So that was nice. But a lot of us tried to pick up hobbies. I think a whole bunch of people started growing sourdough bread.
I feel like that was a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah.
Sourdough bread.
I did not do that.
Like if you weren't making sourdough bread, what were you doing during the pandemic?
I was still working. Anyone here?
Yeah, but good. That's good.
No sourdough.
No bread makers up there. No makers.
Cycling.
Cycling. There you go. That's better than bread making.
So we didn't have a flour shortage, we actually had a bag shortage. So we couldn't get the flour bagged and out to people, so that was crazy. Oh, the toilet paper, well, it wasn't as bad as Australia. But did you, obviously there was more self-isolation for longer periods in the Northern Hemisphere. Have you had a chance to reconnect with any hobbies or pick up any new hobbies during that time?
Ooh, good question. Well, I had very good intentions to pick up my saxophone again, and that quickly dissipated because I was very worried about bothering my neighbors. So I was well-intentioned. I had like a little jazz program I was going to take online, and then I got cold feet because I didn't want to bother my neighbors. Essentially, it's not like a very genteel instrument. You can't really dabble well. It's not like you can do that quietly. So that fell through. I read a little bit more. You know what, I was actually very fortunate. I was working during the pandemic a little bit, so I was shooting. So I was very fortunate. We shot Wynonna Earp, the last 6 episodes of Wynonna Earp during the pandemic, and then I was shooting a show for Hallmark during the pandemic, so I was very lucky. I was actually able to keep working, which was pretty awesome, so yeah.
That's fantastic. Although now I really wish we could have, that saxophone album we'll never see, or yet.
I know, right? It's probably for the best.
Alright, so we have some Earpers on the couch. You have questions?
You guys look great.
Take
Love it.
I know some of the cast have been to Australia for conventions. Who's been, do you know? Have you been or now?
I think Dom and Michael came
Just them?
to Australia, yeah. But if you guys want to have a convention in New Zealand live this time next year, I'll be there.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. It's very, very high on my list to come see you guys in person in New Zealand, so I would love that. But I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, no, that's fine. No, it would be great if you could all make it to New Zealand one day. My only other question was a Wynonna Earp one. When Waverley and Wynonna and Doc were stuck in the garden for 18 months, it wasn't 18 months for them though, was it? Only back in purgatory.
That's right.
Yeah, I didn't think it seemed like that long for them.
It seemed like that long. Yeah, so for us on the outside it was 18 full months, but for them I think it was, I don't know guys, correct me if I'm wrong, like 24 hours or a few hours ish.
Yes.
Hi, Kate.
Hi! I love your shirt, that's one of my favorites.
I was glad I picked both because now I've covered myself.
Exactly right.
Can't go wrong with why not.
Can't go wrong.
And so I'd be remiss if I wouldn't say a big shout out to the Remits and the Why Not fans out there. I've got a couple of questions.
Sure.
Firstly, a couple of updates. I've just chatted with Christine and puppies are doing really well. Just passing that on.
Amazing! Yay!
Yep. So she just sent me a photo and orange and
They're
pink.
so cute. Oh my gosh, I can't.
So just wanted to pass that on. Firstly, I've chatted with you before, so I just don't want to go too much into it. Just saying thank you for all the representation that you're doing. From Team Joey through to Why Not, all that great stuff. I was wondering, I've got two questions. Firstly about your home, and hopefully the renos are all going well. If you ever need a dog's body manual labourer, I'll put my hand up.
Okay, we need lots of those. It's an absolute construction zone right now, but it's been like super fun and rewarding to see it come to life. So we found like lots of cool, here, I can show you actually. I've got a bag of newspapers that have come out of the wall.
Oh, the historian of me is loving it.
Oh yeah, we've got, what's happening here? This one is from, I think I've got 18, no, hang on. I'm gonna show you. Oh, this was some cool original wallpaper that we found. I saved some of that. This one is from 1988. This one though is the best one. This was 1933. Which is pretty cool. And you can see like all the, I've got to kind of carefully unroll it, but you can see here we've got a grocery list. Or was it? Oh yeah, here we go. So here's the grocery list. And we've got licorice all sorts, 19 cents per pound. Pitted dates at 21 cents. Robin Hood flowers, speaking of flowers, 69 cents per cotton bag. Popping corn, snow apples, pretty cool. Some black tea, some fruit cookies. So this has been one of my favorite things, is like discovering all these little treasures in the walls. I love when we take down walls. It's been super fun. Thank you for asking, that's very sweet of you.
So just quickly, how many kg in a pound?
about 2.5.
Oh, shoot.
A pound is 2.
So that's like 1 kg of licorice all sorts for 19 cents.
It's 19 cents, so it's Great Depression era.
Okay. Sorry, I was, okay.
Alright, I won't hold the mic too far, but my other question was, we know how well you, how important representation is, and I suppose, do you have any fears of being typecast?
You mean typecast playing queer characters specifically?
Yeah,
So I was going to be cheeky and say, I don't know, I think
I'm not complaining about it at all.
Nicole are very different people.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but do you
No,
think
for
that,
sure. I think it's a really good question. I think it's a very, I understand totally where you're coming from. I don't know. I feel like we are finally at a place in this industry too where there's diversity all across the board, and I think that you know, I mean, gosh, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, when there was less queer characters, maybe it was a little bit more of a unique thing to play more than one, but now I just feel like I'm seeing so much diversity across the board with all different types of people being represented and getting the opportunity to play, like, I mean, people from different backgrounds, and I think, so I don't know. I don't, and what a great, I mean, to be able to play a character that makes so many people feel seen and special and represented. I mean, what a gift. Like, that's why I do what I do, is to, you know, and I'm looking forward to playing all different kinds of characters. I'm dying to play a villain. I want to play, I'd love to play more supernatural characters. I'd love to play, like, you know, I think for me, I focus on the person. Their sexual orientation is not really, and when I say it's not important, I don't mean it's not important, but it's just a part of them. I'm looking forward to just playing really diverse people, and whatever their sexual preferences are is like awesome. So I think it's a great question. I totally understand where you're coming from, but no, I don't entertain those thoughts too much.
It's just that something that popped up.
No, it's a good question. I understand where you're coming from for sure.
I'll let Brooke and Serena.
Awesome. I love the pillow. Hi, have you been using that to take naps when you're getting tired of the fun? Just rolling up under a table?
I've got like 17 pillows at home, so
amazing. Love it.
Oh, this is crazy. We've literally had like 2 hours to prepare for this. Can't believe I'm talking to you right now. It's been a long 5 years in waiting. First of all, and yes, I've totally written everything down. I thought I was prepared last year with Melanie, but I absolutely blanked and didn't say everything I meant to, and I swore, so oops. Yeah, so first of all, just thank you for coming to us, for appearing for the Kiwi of us. It means the absolute world that you're appearing at Armageddon. Such an awesome surprise to wake up to. And second of all, thank you for appearing in Palmerston North, of all places. This is my hometown. I've literally just come down from the road to see you.
No way! Oh, that's awesome. Good on you.
And if I'd been told in 2016 that you'd be appearing here right now, I wouldn't have believed it. So it's blowing my mind. So thank you. So now for some questions. Given that I've just recently rewatched the end of season 4, what was the very last scene of Wynonna that you filmed, and how hard was it to film knowing that there wouldn't be any more? Well, there might be, we don't know. We don't know.
The very last scene that I filmed was the scene at the end of episode 11, where Doc, Wynonna, Nicole, and Waverly are sitting at the bar, and Nicole interrupts Wynonna and then says, "Are we getting married or what?" And that was the last scene for both Varun and Jeremy. And that was the scene for both, the last scene for both Varun and I. And I think it was really nice. They purposefully scheduled, because Dom had one more day and Melanie and Tim had 2 more days on that block. And they purposefully scheduled that scene so we could have the last scene be a scene with like all of us together for Varun and I, which was really nice. And yeah, I just remember sitting there, and for me it was such a full circle moment, because the first scene I ever shot was there too, at that exact place, in that exact set. So it was very emotional. And I remember after Emily was there, she came to make sure she was there for the last scene with us, and you know, like, they basically said that's a series wrap on Kat and Varun, and we got to say thank you to the crew. It was very emotional, as I'm sure you can imagine, and it definitely cried. And then, you know, just kind of stood and looked around the studio, and I actually, for myself, I re-walked my blocking from episode 2. So I walked in the door, I walked up to the bar, I walked in the exact floor plan, I guess, of like a dance that I had done in that first scene, and I let it go to the gods of whatever was going to happen. But I wanted to, because we didn't know what was going to happen, and we had read the scripts, and we knew that there was quite a wrap up that they wanted, that the network had wanted, and so I didn't want to leave, I guess, my heart like unfinished. Like, I wanted that for myself, to have like a moment of just reflection of like, okay, if this is the last time, that I wanted to like kind of say, I don't know, have like a ritualistic last moment, I guess. And it was nice. It was really nice for me. And I was alone on the set, like everyone had cleared out, and I was alone, and I got to walk the blocking again. And it was very crazy full circle moment, just reflecting on 6 years, almost 6, 5.5 at that point. It would be 6 years in September since we started shooting Wynonna Earp season 1. So I would have started in October, because I was 1 episode behind them. But 6 years, that's crazy. That's a lot of life. That's a lot of experience, a lot of memories with you guys. Like, it's an incredible journey, just all of us, and how the show we've watched each other grow through so many life cycles, and the characters grow, and the fandom grow, and it was such an incredible journey. Seems almost like a ridiculously simple way to put it, but such a journey, like a true chapter of life, and it was very special to have that bookend. So I was in Shorty's on that set in the studio. Yeah.
Did you or do you have to do anything to get into character, like any pre-filming rituals before the director yells action?
Well, for me, I think my hair is a big one, because I've never a redhead other than when I play Nicole. So that's always a big one for me when I see that transformation. For me, actually, one thing that I wish that I didn't bring anything from set, which retrospectively is really stupid, but I wish that I had taken my belt, my uniform belt, because when I put on the belt, and like I'm not always when I play Nicole, I'm obviously not always in the police uniform, but when I put on the belt, it really feels like Nicole for me. Like, that grounds me. There's a weight, a heaviness, it makes you feel very official, I guess. And so for me, that was always, and I guess as far as ritual, there would always be, because the props department is in charge of the belt, And costumes is in charge of the loops that connect the belt to the pants, and then there's always our arms guy who does all the weapons. He's there to put the weapons in the belt at the last minute. So right before I would go into a scene at the top of the day where I was in my uniform, I would like have my arms out and there would be this whole team of people like strapping me into Nicole. And that's one of my favorite rituals because it's such a group effort. Like it feels like you're like being geared up to go on the spaceship or something. There's just something really ritualistic about it. And so I wish that I had taken the belt with me. Yeah, but who knows? But I'm also kind of superstitious because I'm like, well, if I take things, then you know what I mean? So, but yeah, that would be my definitely the one where I feel like, okay, here she is, you know? Yeah.
What was the biggest lesson or thing you learned from being on Wynonna that you've taken with you in life or used for other work?
When I started working on Wynonna, I didn't think I was very strong. I never thought I could play a cop. I was shocked. I remember saying to my partner Ray the night before the audition, I'm never gonna book this. Like there's no me, I can't play a cop because when I was in theater school, I spent a lot of years having people tell me like, oh, you're the ingenue, you're the girl next door, you're the this, you're the that. Like they would put me in these boxes and assign these boxes. So I never thought that I could play a strong sort of cop. Like I just didn't think I had that energy in me. And the thing I've learned the most is that I do. And you can also be strong and soft can coexist, because I think Nicole's a very soft and sentimental person, but also can pull out the badassery when necessary. I think all the characters on Wynonna Earp demonstrate that lesson. And to get to work on a character for so many years, you're able to find a lot of those complexities in a person that when you're just doing something that's like a 2-3 week shoot, there's not enough time to dig in there. But when you sit with the character, and especially when you do like panels and talk to you guys and answer, like you guys have such amazing questions that like, it's like the most perfect character study ever because I have to think, like it makes me really think and it's so perfect. But that was one of the biggest lessons is that, that soft and strong can coexist and it's, and that I had that energy in me, which I never thought I had. And that was a huge lesson that I've taken forward in my life. Huge.
I've got more questions, but I'm going to let others talk to you. But in case I don't get to talk to you again, I love you, Kat. I'm going to meet you face to face one day. You're a legend.
Okay.
Keep shining, keep doing you.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
There you go, you Kat.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great, thanks.
It's so funny, after the first time that we met just a wee bit ago, I was like, oh, this is amazing, I finally got to meet Kat. And I didn't think that I would get to meet her again for like a while at least. And certainly in a context that doesn't quite have the same time pressure as well.
Things go by so fast, it's crazy, it's ridiculous.
So we've got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No, it's absolutely amazing to see you again, and with just a little bit more time up my sleeve, I can form a few more words of just saying thank you. Like, when I first discovered Wynonna Earp, it was through a fan video that was on Instagram, and it was the scene in Nedley's office, and it was at a point in my life where I was still trying to reconcile my sexuality with my faith, and I wasn't really out to many people, just a couple of people, whereas now I am out to both my parents and a lot more friends, and last year I met a few of the people here. I found an urban community and a believer community, so
yes, that's right.
And yeah, just able to be more of the amazing person that I know that I am. I just thank you for that.
for your part and your colleagues, the whole cast and the crew. Thank you. Seems like it's not enough, but that's about all I can ask before I start crying. And I can really resonate with Nicole's character, the soft and strong. That's how I think of myself, and it's something that I have definitely learned more about myself as I've gotten older as well. And I think it's really important to be able to recognise that as people and to be able to grow in confidence. And having amazing people around you certainly helps with that.
Yeah, does it ever.
And seeing representations of that as well. So thank you.
Thank you for saying that.
I do have a few questions. So we gathered questions from people who couldn't be here, and then people for whom getting up on a stage is not necessarily the most fun.
It's a lot, man. I wouldn't be doing what you guys are doing. Yeah. I'm way too shy. There's no way.
So
very brave.
Yeah, I was shaking like an absolute leaf. I think that when I got up here last year to speak to Mel, in Wellington, I should say. It's confusing because I'm from Dunedin and I'm in a completely different place.
What town are you guys?
So we're in Palmerston North, which is in North Island.
North Island.
I'm from Dunedin, which is in the east coast of the South Island. So when we first met, that's where I was because I was in my house.
Okay.
We met Melanie at Armageddon last year in Wellington, which is also in North Island.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
So my question is, what are some of your favourite personality traits of both Joy and Nicole?
Great question. I love Joy's sass. I think I'll just start with Joy because it's the first thing that came to my mind. I love Joy's sass. So I love that she came into a town, especially like in Middleton, where everything's very sweet and very nice, and we saw this character that was a little like, she was a bit rougher and not so eager to please, and I loved that about her. She was very unapologetic for being skeptical or maybe not trusting people right off the bat, or like she just had her walls up, but she wasn't apologizing for that. Like she was in no rush to take them down, and she prioritized protecting herself, which is not something we see a lot, especially with female characters. It's so much better now, but there's this people-pleasing that kind of comes up, and I find that Joy doesn't have that as much, and I really loved that about her. I thought it was really fun to play, and it was really nice to see that in the character, especially in the Hallmark universe, especially, in Middleton. So I really liked that about her personality, and she wasn't afraid to be a lone wolf either. She was okay with her own company, and didn't rush into, I need to be with somebody because I feel like less whole, or I need to have a partner because I'm not okay with my own self. Like she was so okay with her own company, and I really admired that about her. That was one of my favorite traits of hers. And of Nicole, I identify so much with Nicole's struggle to take care of everybody. I think if you're a person, I know that I am, who is very much like the mama bear of the group, or will go above and beyond and put yourself kind of last to take care of everyone else first. I really identified with that in Nicole, and it was really interesting to play that out in another person, identifying it in myself. And I think watching her when she did start to set her boundaries with Wynonna, or with the job, or I think when she did start to speak up for herself a little more in her own mental well-being and ask for help, be vulnerable, especially what we saw in season 4. I think it was really inspiring to get to play through that, because I think that's a thing that people who are that kind of strong rock for everyone else are like, well, I can't break down, because if I do, then we're screwed. And I think to see that not weakness in her, but that vulnerability was really wonderful and a really lovely turn for the character. And I also just loved her silly side, because she's so serious all the time, and those were some of my absolute favorite episodes to play, because of just the Wynonna episodes are some of my absolute favorite, my favorite memories, my favorite to watch. And I think it was just the perfect dynamic with Wynonna and Nicole, because they're so opposites. And it's always funny to see a buddy cop comedy, and the two of them are oil and water, and they are so funny together. And they were just some of my favorite. And to see Nicole, and of course we have to use something like alcohol or something to loosen her up and get her out of her, her shell. And I love that Wynonna pokes at her and points it out and shines a light on it. And I just think it's the perfect recipe for comedy, and it was some of my absolute favorite memories.
I'll just jump in quickly. If you do have a question and you're not up here, that's okay. You can join the line over there, and we'll put you into the rotation. And if you can't come on stage for any reason, put your hand up, I'll come out to you. But, sorry, back to you.
I was just going to say, they're definitely some of my favourite episodes as well. Just seriously, the dynamics are absolutely amazing.
Nice, awesome, that makes me very happy.
Just following on from that, and now I've got my mind blank.
I do that all the time, it drives me crazy. Have you guys ever walked into the kitchen and been why am I here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I obviously just hit it from there.
That's okay, you can pass it on and we can come back to you if you want.
When that happens and you've walked into the room and you have no idea why you're there, it's because you've just seen the silence from Doctor Who. Science.
So I think I might have mentioned that I learned vintage swing dancing here in New Zealand. And so the dancer in me wants to ask you, especially because I know that you're not such a fan of having to dance.
I'm a horrible dancer, because you've seen it. I'm terrible.
No, that's not what you look great, but I know.
I look terrible. It's okay. We can't all be good at everything.
It's true, but honestly, you did look great. But I know that you're not such a fan of dancing on set. But I just wanted to ask, how did you find the experience of learning that on Goldwich? And having to do that? Because you honestly did look great, and you look, I suppose it's just you had such a supportive environment and such an amazing team and castmates to act with, of course.
Yeah, it's a great
so you could be comfortable in that environment.
Yeah,
but
I literally cringed as I did. I was just copying Scott, who plays Adam on Good Witch, because he's so carefree and he was so into it, and he's a very good dancer. So I was just please don't leave me. But you know what it was so great about that was right after we had gone through a very, very long lockdown, and we were the only people who were we hadn't touched another person or hugged a friend or laughed or danced in 6 months. So there was such a celebratory feeling on set during that. It was such a special night, that night of shooting, and everything looked so great. When you get to go to a party like that, it's amazing. And everyone was in these great costumes. It was this beautiful setting, and we were all just so genuinely happy to be there and to be dancing and laughing and having fun. So it took it to it's a whole other level, because none of us had the opportunity to do that in months and months and months and months. So I think that feeling overshadowed oh God, I've got to dance and this is going to be filmed feeling. Oh, the worst. Whenever I see dancing, I'm no, please God, no.
Well, it was definitely a beautiful moment, Kat. There was definitely good Oopers screaming when that scene was finally aired.
Oh my gosh, I saw so many funny memes from that. Oh my gosh, so many good facial expressions. Hilarious, I died. So funny. That's right, it got like so dark in this room all of a sudden, but I've got this light. There we go, that's a bit better. Okay, you guys can still see me.
Yeah.
Got so dark. Okay, there we go.
I've got a question about what would you think would happen in a possible season 5 or so, especially with the Angel Shield, because when we saw that, I've got the tattoo of it now.
There it is.
So
yes,
I've added some pride to it. So it just that just absolutely resonates. So we know you can't leave the Ghost River Triangle. Even though we'd love to see Waverley at the beach and stuff like that.
Right.
But what do you think would be, you're not going to have a superpower or anything like that, well, I don't know, but what do you think how would that manifest, I suppose? How would your role as the Shield manifest?
Oh my god.
Especially against someone like Eve.
Yeah. Such a good question. I have no idea. I mean, I always hate to even speculate because Emily's such a genius, but I really don't. I really genuinely just don't know. I mean, not getting to leave the Ghost River Triangle is going to be a really interesting one because I think then that feels to me like I'm on the defensive because you're sort of like fighting and protecting and just trying to keep everything at bay. I think it would be really hard for Nicole because there's not a lot of proactive stuff that she can do because she's very limited by like physical boundaries. And I don't know if it's like, I do think she'd have to have some sort of power, being the Angel Shield, or some sort of magical or superhuman ability because
I keep thinking like force field yeeting, sort of where she was like pushing people away.
Yeah, pushing people around her. But I also think knowing Emily, there would be a physical aspect and then there would be like an emotional or mental aspect that there would be some sort of connection with. Such a great question. I really don't know. I think, yeah, but like some sort of badass fighting power, awesome. And then I think there's because she can't just be there fighting for this indefinite amount of time. There's got to be some progress, and I know that Nicole would definitely be like, okay, we can physically move whatever off that we need to, but at some point we have to get rid of this. So what does that look like? I mean, and I don't know, I think there would be a return to the garden or another dimension. Like I really do feel like that would be the beginning of maybe multiple worlds or a constantly open portal or a portal that where things happen inside, it affects the outside world.
I see spin-offs.
Yeah, right? I think we could do a lot of really cool movies. Because in the movies, we're not going to be limited by chronology or, like it doesn't have to line up with anything, which I think I would love to see what Emily would do with that. Like I would love to see a throwback episode or something to when they were teenagers or another universe or reimagining.
Get the whiteboard.
What's that, sorry?
Get the whiteboard out the well.
Get the whiteboard, that's right, yeah, totally. I just think it would be her, like with Emily's imagination and not being tied to continuing a certain timeline, I just think we can have some fun. Yeah.
It's my first time speaking to any cast members. I'm a relatively
No
new
way.
member.
Oh my goodness, such a pleasure.
So I just wanted to say thank you very much for this. And if you do see Mel at some stage, give her a hug from Kirsty.
I will, absolutely. I'm actually gonna text her and check in on her and see how she's doing.
So we've probably got time for one more question. Do you guys want to discuss that democratically, fight for it, or
Rock, paper, scissors.
is there a hierarchy in the others? I'm not sure of this.
I suppose what we think of, I know personally, I don't know, I speak for the rest of them, but we know Mel did your speech for the CSAs. Were you able to reciprocate?
I have to do it. I have to do it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Mel's really funny.
So
and
are you,
I'm
Kate.
not.
Yes, you are.
And I put
Really see
a
what's
lot
in
of
it.
pressure on myself to write that speech. I have to do it. I have to.
Just add Melanie in there and you'll be fine.
Mullane, I know. Love Mullane.
So, sorry.
Yeah,
I've
I've shamefully chickened out. I'm not gonna lie. I have shamefully chickened out, and it's been in my mind. Yes.
Sorry, unless my research is completely wrong, and it could be, weren't you a member of the Groundlings Comedy School?
Very, very, very briefly. Yes.
Did I just think
I studied there. I wasn't a member of like their core class. I just studied it under their program. Yeah, I'm not funny enough to be.
When you're in Mel together though, you're pretty funny.
Because I can just feed off her.
It takes two.
Well, thank you. I can play uptight, funny, because it's a little closer to home for me, perhaps. Oh gosh, what I would give to do another Why Not episode. Oh, it's so funny. So
All of
funny.
us would be there for it.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Sorry, we're going to have to unfortunately wind it up, and I do have to ask the traditional question, but if you guys can remember what Melanie's answer to this was, keep it in mind, and we'll compare it to Kat's in a second. But we do have a tradition at Armageddon, Kat, where we ask this question of all our guests, especially first-timers like yourself. We live in a world where there's a lot of movies and stories about superheroes and supervillains with superpowers. But if you could have a mundane superpower, what would it be? Now, when I say mundane, I'm not talking about the ability to fly, super speed, super strength, invisibility. I'm talking something like, for example, my mundane superpower is the ability to find a vacant car park in front of my destination every time. Some of the other examples.
That's an excellent one.
It didn't work last time.
Excellent. So the first thing that came to my mind is the ability to eat an unlimited amount of desserts without feeling negative effects. Like without feeling sick to my stomach or nauseous or like I'm going to explode. That would be a very enjoyable superpower for me. I would like that very much. So there's one. The other mundane superpower I would really like to have is the ability to find my phone on a consistent basis. The amount of times that I find my phone in a week is astronomically high.
So,
And so I would think that I would like that.
which one are you going to choose? You can only have one.
Probably the desserts.
You remember what Melanie's was? I can't remember either, but yeah, when you check in on Melanie, just ask her what her mundane
I'll
superpower
ask her. I'll ask her for sure.
I'm just beginning to realise that a lot of these mundane superpowers are very self-serving.
Oh God, yeah.
But hey, thank you so much for stepping in at late notice, Kat. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Such a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me. This is so nice. What a nice surprise.
Thank you so much, Kate.
Thanks to the Earpers for
Such a
coming
pleasure,
on up.
guys. You guys did a great job. Let's see.
The camera's over there.
Oh, I see it. Yes, I see it.
Can you zoom in on this?
No, with her gun. I love it. This airport looks so great.
It's still healing.
It's still healing. It's so fresh. I love it.
Well, Palmerston North, there's only sort of one way we can finish this, isn't there? Yeah, give her the mic.
I say Wynonna, you say Earp, Wynonna. Wynonna. I say Wynonna, you say Earp, Wynonna. 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 Love you, Kate.
All right, Palmerston North, from one ardent fan group to another. If you are fans of the show Supernatural, you will recognise our next guest. Of course, he's also in Gallivant.
Okay, kia ora guys, my name's Bronwyn. I've got two questions, and one I'll circle back to what Megan was just talking about in terms of representation. But I'm an Earper, so I would be remiss if I didn't grab this opportunity to talk to Rachel. Because we missed out on talking to Mel this morning, but we had the wonderful experience of Kat instead. So your character Eliza in Wynonna Earp, Rachel, I think you would have to rival being one of the only other characters on the show who could go toe to toe with Wynonna, and you definitely did that very well. I'm still a wee bit angry that you got killed off on that show. But given, I can put that aside.
But it was only ever supposed to be one episode.
Yeah, so that's what I was.
Yeah, but I'll tell you the story later.
Okay.
You guys.
And then I'll come back to the other three, please.
So I had worked on the show years before with the showrunner, who was at the time Superpowers. She became a showrunner of the show Wynonna. And so I was working on another show, and she said, hey, do you want to come on and do an episode? I was like, anything for you, I'm 100% love. So I'm filming this other show, and I have this little window where I could go and film the episode, but it had been like super hectic with this other show, so I hadn't read the script and just cramped it down. I was like, whatever you need to do, I'll do. So I arrived in, and I was filming the next day, and I like kind of skimmed through, and so I know the story, but I hadn't read like the story description. Like, she's wearing a gray shirt, totally, and exactly, did read that. So I get to the wardrobe fitting, and it's underwear. And I was like, what the fuck is this? She's my first name. And she's like, it's for your fight scene. And I was like, I'm just gonna need to just bring this right back here. I was like, so excited in my underwear. I'm like trying to find it. Sure enough, right is right. It's right there. So anyway, needless to say, there was this beautiful stuffed girl who had the nicest butt I've ever seen. I was like, oh, this is great. This is fantastic. Everyone's gonna think that that's my butt. Like, I'm perfect. So that was my first day on the road. But there you go. I had lots of fun.
It was amazing. And as I said, that character I think could definitely go toe to toe with Wynonna, no problem at all.